Okay, so I'm back. It's been a while, but with the release of BT12, I thought I'd bring back one of my favourite decks from BT9, and that is WarGreymon X. So this is just a quick deck list that I've put together, and I'll probably do some more deck lists for the other decks I'm playing this format, especially post-ban list. I have a couple of interesting things brewing, but we'll get to that. So to start out with the eggs, we are simply running 4 BT5 Koromon. Inheritable when attacking once per turn if it has Omnimon or Greymon, other than the exceptions, draw 1. Great egg for any sort of Agumon Greymon focused strategy, just kind of makes sense. For rookies, we are playing 4 of the promo Agumon. Inherited during your turn if it has Greymon in name, plus 2k. So it's very good for getting a big, beefy boss monster. Up next is 4 copies of the brand new BT12 Agumon. And this sort of addresses all of the problems I had with the BT5 Agumon. On play, reveal the top 4, add a Greymon or Omnimon, and a Tai. Now, you can't get 2 hits off it as much as you can with the BT5 Agumon. But the reason I run this is the inherited effect, which is all turns while it has Greymon or Omnimon in name gets plus 1000 DP. And that sort of deals with the big issue that I had with BT5 Agumon, was that it felt really bad going in the stack because it didn't have an effect. And lastly, 4 copies of Agumon X. So you can digivolve this for 0 from Agumon, and on play when digivolving, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 card with Greymon or Omnimon in its name, and an X Antibody among them to your hand, and place the rest on the bottom. So it's another searcher, essentially. So this deck does quite well with its searches. Up next for champions, we've got, of course, 4 copies of starter deck Greymon. It's simply just an inherited security attack plus 1. Very good for what we're trying to do. We've also got 2 copies of the new BT12 Greymon. I'm not sure about this yet. When digivolving, if you don't have a tamer with Tai in its name, you can play one for free. It's alright. And inherited, while it has Greymon or Omnimon in name, all turns, plus 1000 DP. So it's better than nothing, I suppose. We've got 4 copies of the BT9 Greymon X. It's a strong protection effect. Inherited all turns, if it has Greymon or Omnimon in name and an effect would delete it or return it to hand, you can trash 2 cards at the same level to prevent it from leaving play. So that's pretty good, especially because we can only run 1 copy of the BT11 Greymon X, which is probably a lot better. During your turn, if it digivolve into a card with Greymon in its name, reduce the cost by 1 for each of that card's colours. And inherited, if it would be deleted or returned to hand or deck, you can place the X Antibody from its sources to the bottom of the deck to prevent that from happening. Next, for our ultimates, we are running 4 copies of the brand new BT12 MetalGreymon. This has the effect Raid, so whenever it swings in, it can redirect its own attack to your opponent's unsuspended Digimon with the highest DP. And when an attack target is switched all turns once per turn, you can free play a black or red tamer with a play cost of 4 or less. And inherited, if it has Greymon or Omnimon name, piercing, and that's sort of the main reason we play this card, is to get that piercing effect, and you'll see why once we get into it a bit. Then we've also got 4 copies of the BT9 MetalGreymon X. Might drop this down to 3, I'm not sure yet, but can digivolve for 0 from MetalGreymon, and when digivolving gets security attack plus 1. And plus 3k if MetalGreymon or X Antibody are in its sources. So it's good to get an extra check and a DP buff, because obviously if this is OTK, you want as many security checks as possible. Then for our megas, we are running 3 copies of the new BT12 WarGreymon. Like MetalGreymon, it has Raid. When digivolving, it gets plus 3k and Reboot. Reboot, not as good in this variation of the deck, because obviously we're not going to be blocking or anything, we just want OTK with this. But it's nice to have, stops it being swung over, I guess. And all turns once per turn, when an attack target is switched, unsuspend this Digimon, and that's sort of the main reason why I like this card. Essentially, what you do is you get into this, place the X Antibody under it, swing, raid, restand with that effect, and then go straight into one of our 3 copies of WarGreymon X. When a card is removed from your opponent's security stack, gain a memory all turns, not once per turn. Fantastic effect. And end of attack, if WarGreymon or X Antibody is in its Digivolution cards, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to this one. So you want to raid in, go into this, restand, and then swing in again, get out the last of security. And then you'll want to go into Blitz Omni. Big stack red OTK deck, why wouldn't you? We're also running a single copy of the BT10 Omnimon X. When Digivolving, return all of your opponent's Digimon with the highest level to the bottom of their owner's deck. Very strong removal effect, and when Digivolving and attacking, you can place the X Antibody or a level 6 card from this Digimon's Digivolution card to the bottom of its deck to reveal your opponent's security stack and trash one of them. So it's good if you can only get 4 checks. You go into this with the X Antibody under and you swing, go into this, use the effect to trash their last security and then hit for game. For our Tamers, I can't believe this wasn't hit on the ban list, 3 copies of Cool Boy. On play, reveal the top 3, add a Digimon with X Antibody in its traits and an option card with X Antibody in its traits to your hand. And when one of your Digimon digivolves into a same level Digimon with X Antibody, you can suspend him to gain a memory and draw 1. This is one of the most efficient cards in the game, and I'm amazed that they didn't hit it. They will someday, probably, maybe, I don't know. And this one might come as a bit of a shock, considering how much of the new BT12 stuff we're playing, but we're only playing 3 of the BT1 Tai. We're not playing the BT12 one. This is a memory setter, and it has all of your red Digimon with 4 or more Digivolution cards get security tech +1. Straightforward, just adds on a check, and that's all we really need for OTK. The reason I don't run the new Tai is that we don't really have the space to put it in, and it doesn't really do much for what we're trying to do. Obviously the suspending to gain a memory back when Digivolving into a Greymon is nice, but will likely be in the raise for the most part, so even that effect, not insanely useful. So that's why I run 3 Cool Boy and 3 Tai. Lastly, for options, we've got 3 copies of the X Antibody. Course. So in security, you gain a memory and add it to your hand. Place this under it, and then when attacking, you can Digivolve into an X Antibody Digimon. And a single copy of Red Memory Boost. I want to add in another one of these, but I'm not sure what to take out for it. Maybe a BT12 Greymon or a BT9 Greymon X. But you know what this card does. Reveal top 4, add a red card, and then you can trash it for 2 memory. So yeah, that is my BT12 WarGreymon X deck. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you next time for my Red Hybrid deck profile.